Here we are once again, folks. Another day, another video on the Bosch and Roll stream. Today I'm playing Vintage, and this is a donation deck list. Travis Hilly has been playing Blood Moon in Vintage for a little while now. He's put up some results. He had a 5-0 prelim recently with this list. He actually submitted a question to the mailbag episode of the Eternal Glory podcast that we filmed recently, asking if we think Blood Moon is playable in Vintage. And myself, Phil, and Bryant were all sort of like, probably not. Everyone has Moxen, and it's a 3-mana card that doesn't affect the board directly. So, maybe, maybe not. But Travis is out here putting his money where his mouth is. He's got some results, and he made a donation to my channel to get me to play this deck myself and see what I think about it. Basically, the plan of this deck is you're just a rock solid Xerox deck. Like your Xerox. This is the Xerox shell. We have free counter spells. We have got the cantrips. I did just notice there's no brainstorm in this deck. That's exciting. But I guess that makes a lot of sense. If you're planning on having Blood Moon in play, then you're not able to shuffle reliably. So brainstorm can be a liability. That's a really clever deck building decision that I just noticed. The deck, you're planning to work a Blood Moon into play at some point, and then beat your opponent with whatever's left over. But on top of the Blood Moon, you have all these perfectly respectable vintage cards like Narset, Dak Faden, Dreadhorde Arcanist, Young Pyromancer, and the brand new Hull Breacher. This thing, I bet, supercharged this deck. I know Travis was working on this long before Commander Legends was legal to play. But I'm excited about getting to play Hull Breacher in Vintage. And the most exciting thing about this deck to me is this sideboard Underworld Breach combo plan. I'll try to bring it to the front over here. It's just this 5-card package where you can board into a combo deck where against other fair decks or decks where Blood Moon isn't that great, or decks that can disrupt you well, you can just pivot into a combo deck. Underworld Breach plus Brain Freeze. If you're not familiar with this, you breach, you Brain Freeze yourself. Brain Freeze mills some number of cards, and then if Black Lotus is in your graveyard, you exile 3 cards, cast Black Lotus, exile 3 more cards, cast Brain Freeze, which now mills you for 12 instead of 6, and then you Brain Freeze yourself until your graveyard's full enough to Brain Freeze your opponent out of the game. So it's a tight little package that you can bring in the matchups where the main deck fair plan might not be enough. Or if you just want to do like a sideboard juke, like we could board this in for game 2, win with it, and then take it out for game 3 once they bring in all their graveyard hate. So that's fun too. Other than that, like if you've seen me play Vintage on this channel before, I've played a lot of Rug Xerox. I played Jeskai Xerox. A lot of the core shell of this looks pretty similar. We just have Blood Moon as our banger instead of Wrenn and 6 or Lavinia or Monastery Mentor. So let's go see if 2 colors are better than 3. Remember, if you want me to play your deck on the channel, I'll put my contact info in the description of the video, and you could always find me and message me on Twitter, Bosch and Roll on Twitter, and we'll figure it out. So get in touch if you want to see your deck featured on my stream. We do have some Magic to play. I'll see you in the games. Let's go do it. We're on the play here for round 1. This hand is a mulligan. No cantrips, 1 land. The land only makes 1 color. Yeah, this is a pretty easy send. This, on the other hand, is an easy keep. I don't think I need Merchant Scroll because the card I'm going to scroll for is already in my hand. I guess I could bottom Hull Breacher. No, I'm going to bottom the scroll and just play a slam my threats kind of game here. So I'm going to Ancestral in their upkeep because I'm mulliganed, I can do it now and I won't have to discard. I'll just go up to 7. But this plays around Force of Negation at least. Let's hope they don't have the misstep. Alright, they didn't have it. So now we've got lands and a parade of threats set up. If this is a fair matchup, I kind of like where we are. If it's any sort of combo, they're not shops. We see a land drop now, but yeah, if they were like shops or combo or something we'd need to interact with, we're in a lot of trouble. But this is good from here. If they are the type of deck that would go Volcanic Island Preordain, then Hull Breacher's probably going to be pretty good. And we get to take a peek at what exactly they're up to. Okay, they're Oath of Druids. They have a shitload of counter spells over there. Okay, so this is pretty awkward because if I play Dreadhorde Arcanist, they just cast Oath and then they get their monster and I lose. Alright, this just got really shitty. Alright, so they have Daze in their hand. What a wild card to have in Vintage. So I'm going to have to ponder here. Gonna have to find some way to fight over that Oath or win around it. I'm not sure that I can do either. So yeah, this is pretty shitty. It sucks that they have Daze. That just makes it so easy to win any counter war. Don't need another Hull Breacher. All right, Oath of Druids is the bane of the Xerox type deck, because we have so few ways to remove an enchantment, especially in straight up blue-red. Yep, and they can just jam it fearlessly here. So they have so much counter protection, they know it's going to work. So let's look at this deck list. How do I win now? It's probably involves like using DAC to get an emblem and take their oath, or setting up like one giant turn with Time Walk. Both of those are pretty sketch. And they still have Daze over there, so it's not like I can really end step a Hull Breacher here and try to get aggro. So I'm gonna put both of these on top, I think. Narset is actually a card I can play that does anything, which is pretty nice. I'm going to save the strip mine in case they find Forbidden Orchard, and I can bolt the first spirit they give me and then strip the orchard. Dig through time. Alright, I like everything that's happening right now. Alright, so they just saw me top 3 cards off a pair of Preordains. Hopefully they respect my hand a little bit, but they don't have to respect much with this setup they have. I guess it's also super awkward that they can just Force of Will my Bolt with backup. Hopefully, I guess I can. Or they're holding up Flusterstorm and Bolt. My God. Or Flusterstorm and Daze and Force. Yeah, we're gonna have a hard time winning this one. I think I have to cast the Dig just as a bait spell. See if they want to fight over this. It would be really smart of them to just let this resolve. And unfortunately, I had to show them the strip mine before I did anything else. Because that's how I pay for Flusterstorm. But I guess I'm not paying for Flusterstorm anyway. So now I bolt this. And then they can Force of Will. Or not, okay. Alright, I think it's fine that they settled in for the long game. They're at a position where they don't really have to respect anything I'm doing. Because eventually they'll just draw another another orchard. Or I'll have to play a creature at some point. But I'm pretty glad we survived the turn. I'll take that. Because kind of my best hope at this point is that I can just get them with Hull Breacher somehow. I'm not sure how though. Oh, they are activating Dack, so that's a way to get some treasures, but they still Hull Breacher being a creature. Oh, they discarded Force of Will. Oh, they have their hand must be completely bananas. All right, so I'm gonna. So I don't think, yeah, there's no Mystic Sanctuary in this deck. There's no way to get this Time Vault or the Time Walk back if I cast it once. So I have to use it carefully. So I can cast the Time Walk, see if it resolves, then cast Dreadhorde Arcanist, see if I can get an Ancestral Recall out of the deal. I mean, they can just daze this, but that I'm kind of hoping that they don't, because like it puts a creature into play. Yeah, this is a dangerous game I'm playing. I will not pretend that it's not. All right, so they're gonna get an Oath trigger. Guaranteed. So I can run Narset out right now, or I could try to surprise them with Hull Breacher. I think Narset's better. I suspect they have a Force of Will because they discarded one. Why would they go completely defenseless? Or not. You're the expert. Mox Ruby or Misstep? I guess Misstep can protect from a red blast a little bit. Though Ruby can cast Hull Breacher, but they have Daze. I have a Gitaxian Probe and a Lightning Bolt in my graveyard if I play the second Arcanist out. Guess I'll just take the point of interaction. Alright, so they get to trigger Oath. Basically they have to hit Grizzlebrand, and they can't draw extra cards. They have Emrakul. I don't think I can beat that at all. It does not have haste, so that's lucky, but pretty sure that doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm even at exactly 15 life. That's fun. Alright, what am I looking for? Pretty sure there's not now to Emrakul in the main deck. Confirmed. Okay. Oh, I found the Lightning Bolt. I could have beaten Grizzlebrand here. That's funny. But, alright. I'm done. So this is a perfect matchup where this Breach combo is pretty nice. Because there's not much of a plan against Oath otherwise. I think I want the Surgical because they do tend to dump stuff into their graveyard for fun and profit. Against Oath of Druids, pretty sure I don't want Young Pyromancer. Oh, they have Emrakul. So that makes Brain Freezing them a whole lot harder. But I have the Surgical, so I'll have to Brain Freeze them twice. Like, Brain Freeze them until they mill Emrakul, Surgical it, then Brain Freeze them again. Wow, that sucks. Alright, so Pyroblast good. I think Blood Moon is actually really good if we can get to that point in the game. Lightning Bolt, not so much. I could. There might be a world where I can breach enough Lightning Bolts to just kill them instead of worrying about decking them through Emrakul. So that's worth considering. I need my forces. I think Young Pyromancer is the worst creature here. And I need to cut some of the creatures. I'm actually going to go down to 1 Lightning Bolt, because if I'm Brain Freezing, then I should be able to just do that anyway. Arcanist is awkward because if they have Oath, it's garbage, but if they don't have Oath, it's the best thing I can be doing. Not going to touch any of my non-creature threats. And I like Hull Breacher a lot. Alright, Hull Breacher having Flash, at least I can try to work around an Oath. Another Ancestral Recall hand. Don't mind if I do. And this one actually has some interaction in it, so that's even better. Yeah, I just start every game with this in my hand. It's my commander. I kind of hope they do have the turn 1 oath this game, because I am so ready to fight over that. And I'm going to have to discard if they don't. Alright, they topped with their Preordain. So I can scroll for something. I could just Surgical Preordain. That forces a shuffle. And the I'm going to have to discard anyway. So I think getting a look at their hand and shuffling this card they wanted off the top of their deck is fine. And this isn't going anywhere. It's still in my graveyard. So if I do end up breaching, it'll still be there to clip the Emrakul when I need it later. Oh, their hand is not great. So let's look at this deck. A Braid, Ancient Grudge. I should screenshot this for future information. It's one of those tricks of playing Magic Online. Okay, so they have a Tinker plan, or no, they don't necessarily have Tinker because they're an Oath deck. So they have Blightsteel Colossus, Emrakul. There's got to be a Dragon Breath around here somewhere, unless they cut it. Alright, they don't have the Dragon Breath, but they are on the GG Oath, just the creatures that kill you in one shot. And they have one Oko as a backup plan. Okay. Right, it doesn't show me their hand anymore. Alright, so their hand was Dak, Daze, Force, Misstep, Volk. Dak, Daze, Force, Misstep, Volk. Okay, so I am not going to cast this Merchant Scroll into their many dazes. I will save Force of Will for Dak, and then their hand is basically empty. And I'm working towards Treasure Cruise. Alright, that was their draw for turn. So I'm gonna pitch the Merchant Scroll because I already have the Ancestral. Maybe I didn't need to fight over Dak. Maybe I should have just let it resolve and had Hull Breacher next turn. That might be crazy. Alright, so Volk and Dak. So their hand is Daze, Force of Will, Mental Misstep. And now I can play Hull Breacher around a Daze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can play Treasure Cruise around a Daze right now, but then I lose my Ancestral and my Surgical for future breaches. I think if I just play patiently, I'll do better than that. So they can double Daze Hull Breacher here, or force it, but I'm okay with all of that. If it gets their hand lower to a point where I can Treasure Cruise. Ancestral in response, shit. I'm not excited about Ancestral Recall. So Daze, Force of Will, Mental Misstep are all in their hand. Yeah, I'm just not winning this counter war no matter what. So I'll save my Force of Will for later. That was an unfortunate draw for them to have. right now. On the turn I went for Hull Breacher. So they must have Lightning Bolt or Red Blast. Or the Abrade, probably. So I can't play around Double Days. Alright. Alright, let's see if you care about this. This is going to make it really hard to Oath. But otherwise they can play through it pretty well. Alright, it's Blood Moon time. Let's see if this card is worth its salt. It's going to be pretty hard to come up with green mana under a Blood Moon, and it's going to be really hard to give me a creature without Forbidden Orchard. Scroll. They've already cast Ancestral. Let's see if they're just getting more protection. Alright, yep, Dig makes some sense. They can't cast it though, with what they have available. Okay, so now I can hardcast Force, but I think going for Treasure Cruise is better. So they have Daze, Force of Will, Mental Misstep, Dig Through Time. I know 5 of their 6 cards. Alright, what happens if I cruise? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have to play into the Double Days. Alright, I'm just gonna pass with Force of Will up. Because I want the Surgical and the Ancestral in my graveyard for when I breach later. I guess they can only daze once, they only have 1 island. So that's worth noting. So one of them is a pretty easy pitch to the Force of Will. But I play 4 Red Blasts, so if I'm patient, I can work this game to a place where my spells resolve. Blood Moon is actually just quietly insane right now. Like, only 1 daze, no green mana. The only reason they have 2 blue is the Mox Sapphire. I think I'm gonna beta fight over this. They know I don't have Red Blast because I would have just Red Blasted instead of hardcasting my Force. But this is like on the bet that Dig is better than whatever might be in their hand. Okay, so Force Daze and Dig are gone. They still have Misstep and a second Daze. Yeah, it's up to Blood Moon to win this game because we're getting buried in cards. Yep, they can't cast Oko with what they have going on, can't cast Oath. They basically have no win conditions until they find their Mox Emerald or remove Blood Moon. Yeah, I'm just going to be really patient on this Treasure Cruise. I don't want to put it straight into a Pyroblast. Let's see, they play 4 of them. Alright, I found a Dig of my own, which is kind of awkward because it taxes my Delve. Alright, so they are not making land drops. They're at 7 cards in hand. So next turn, it will be on them to find a land drop, make a play, or just go to discard. And they would not be going to discard if Blood Moon was not in play. They would just be winning the game. So, alright, Travis. Oh no, what is this 6-mana spell? Is this Treasure Cruise? Oh, I'm fine with that. Not that I can do anything about it, but okay. They really want to go to discard. Oh, maybe not. Maybe they're going to win instead. Oh, Mana Crypt's in play. We got a win, Con. Just discard Oath of Druids. Love it. Alright, so now we just gotta hold the fort until this Mana Crypt kills them. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They can hardcast Blightsteel Colossus. Oh, they did have a Tinker in their deck? They were lying to me? Oh yeah, I guess it is right there. I missed it with my stupid eyes. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, I'll try to dig in response. Alright, they have a red blast, so I have a misstep, but so do they. So I misstep, you misstep. And then you get Blightsteel, and then I Treasure Cruise and find deck and win the game. That's the plan. Let's see if it works. I could also just rip Underworld Breach and see about that. Okay, they still have their misstep, which they've chosen to keep over this Flusterstorm. I guess that makes sense because I'm currently tapped out and I won't be for long. Alright, but that exchange puts plenty of cards in my graveyard for this Treasure Cruise. Just hope they don't also have Time Walk. Oh, they can't cast it. They're out of blue mana, so that's fine. Alright, deck fading. Alright, Hull Breacher, not quite it. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They counter this, I'm in some trouble. I can still Time Walk and try to find deck. Alright, so Time Walk. We're in desperation mode now, folks. Oh, they had Red Blast. Okay, we're dead. GG's. That's a tough matchup. And we just never drew a Pyroblast until it was too late. Oh well, on to the next one. On the draw in round 2. I like this hand. This is pretty good chance at a turn 2 Blood Moon, and we have some permission. Looks like we're playing against Shops. Having Mox against shops is pretty nice. Wish we were on the play, but that's life. They have a very good start. Oh my god. Revoker resolves. They probably named Black Lotus in the dark. If they just snipe Mox Ruby, I don't know. They're a genius. Yep. Black Lotus in the dark. That's how you do that. Stonecoil Serpent for 4. Pretty sure I have to force that because I can't actually beat it. Dak can't steal it. It's bigger than every creature I have. Alright, yeah. I'm gonna have to force that. And I have to pitch the force to the force because I need this preordain to make sure my hand functions. Ooh, or I could just Blood Moon right now. That takes them off so much mana. I think it's worth it. Alright, Travis. This is it. I mean, Blood Moon was insane last game. I'm already kind of convinced that it has a lot of utility. So now they have 3 mana instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tanglewire. Jeez, what year is it? Player taps an artifact, creature, or land. Oh, that's none of those things. Yeah, Tanglewire is a good card. Have you ever just had 4 time walks? Narset is going to be pretty hard to cast, and I think I'm already attacking their mana as much as I'm going to be able to. There we go. Alright, so I have to get through this Tanglewire. I'm glad we're not taking 6 every turn. Just 2. Gotta hope that that last card in their hand's not a banger. This looks like an X spell. Yeah, Stonecoil Serpent. Alright, so keeping up blue makes the most sense to me. Like, I don't have Shatter in my main deck. Alright, so I can cast Dreadhorde Arcanist this turn, assuming they brick. Please brick, by the way, opponent. Dreadhorde Arcanist can stop their entire offense and cast Preordain next turn. Alright, cool. Looks like we're through it. I even found the land. So I could Dak first. Dak basically dies right away. Like if I plus it, he takes 4. If I steal their Mox, he dies. They don't have any untapped creatures. I could steal Revoker. I just think Arcanist is the best play here. It stops their beats. Oh, I forgot this isn't a fetch land. I should have tapped that and left up blue. Man, Blood Moon. What's up, Blood Moon? Not playing around. Alright, so I can... They probably don't attack this turn. Then I can steal Foundry Inspector. Trying to figure out if this matters. I guess I'll tap this. Alright, yeah, so I'll steal Foundry Inspector, and I think I don't attack. Like, if I just hold my horses for a second here, like, I guess if they want to kill Dreadhorde Arcanist, then... so the question is it more important to have Dreadhorde Arcanist or have Dak? And I think the answer is easily Dak. So I'm just going to pass here, because next turn I can attack with Arcanist and play the second to block. And I can plus Dak to get rid of this Pyroblast in my hand. Like, Walking Ballista messes all this up, but I feel like that card would be in play already if they had it. Tapping 0 permanents feels good. Nice Tangle Wire. That feels good too. So if they commit to a double block here, they lose their whole board. And doing it this way is better than like Bolt. Ooh. Like, I could Bolt, Arcanist, Bolt, and just clear their board and they take one, but setting them up for the double block where they lose everything and I get to preordain is just way better. Alright, they're just going for the clean bump. And now we go off. Discard Pyroblast and this Scalding Tarn. Backup, Dak up. I don't need Gitaxian Probe. That's not part of the plan anymore. I think I'd rather hold up Lightning Bolt than play the third Arcanist. Alright, this game should be pretty hard to lose from here. I get to Ancestral next turn. Their whole board's under control. I can steal Soul Ring next turn and make another Dak and steal something else. Alright, so now I have the choice. Bolt right now. Alright, yeah, I'm just going to bolt this right now because I have 2 bolts. I'm going to get rid of the thing with Trample before they do something tricky about it. And then next turn I can Bolt Ravager and steal Revoker if they pile onto it. Yeah, that's an easy block. If they want to dump a bunch of their resources into making this thing huge. Wow. Okay. I mean, I have Dak in play that can steal this gigantic creature now. I'm not sure about that line. Like, I literally just minus Dak in play, and I win. Yeah, alright, there it is. Okay. Blood Moon, alright, Travis. Blood Moon was good. I will admit it. Alright, so Shattering Sprees are in. I probably... Like, I'm not sure about this Lotus Petal. Like, it seems like it's mostly there to be part of the Breach plan, but the also against shops, just being able to jump ahead on mana is important all the time. So I'm definitely bringing in the 3 Sprees, and then the Petal is a maybe. And I have 4 Pyroblasts that have to leave the deck, so I guess Lotus Petal's in, because... Or I guess Mental Misstep also has to leave the deck. Gitaxian Probe is not good. Alright, there might be more happening here. Are there just more cards to cut than I have to bring in? Like, do I just bring in a value breach? I don't think I want Tabernacle because I play a zillion creatures myself. Yeah, this is awkward. Alright. Yeah, I'll bring in the Tabernacles. Just anything to slow them down is good. So that's 6 cards, that's 6 cards. Alright, I'll do it like that. Just do a quick check that there's no Flusterstorms or anything else left in the deck that is embarrassing. Alright, no, that looks fine. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, I guess we are a Wasteland deck and also a Blood Moon deck, and Tabernacle, even if it isn't the full Plague Wind that you want out of a Tabernacle, it could still do some work. Alright, well this is a hand that is Bananas on the play and Dangerous on the draw. I'm going to keep it though. It has 2 Shattering Sprees and Ancestral Recall. Like, just don't Trinosphere me and we'll be alright. Also, this deck plays 4 Moxen and Lotus, so there's 5 zeros I can hit off Ancestral, and I'm also on the draw. So, I don't know, this is kind of awkward. Okay, good. They mulled to 5, and all they have is Phyrexian Revoker. I guess maybe I spoke too soon. They could have gone Mox, Thorn. Like, Thorn of Amethyst, or Sphere of Resistance is the kind of shit I'm worried about right now. Oh, it sucks that they had the Mox Sapphire too. This Tabernacle would have been bananas. Okay, so I'm gonna Ancestral on their turn. I don't even need to do it in their upkeep. I can just wait to see what they do. Alright, so Ballista, I don't need to respond to that. I'm gonna fetch Volcanic Island, which they are a Wasteland deck and I have a 1-land hand, but I want to cast Ancestral now and then untap and Shattering Spree for the most possible. So I'm gonna just do it like this. Uh-oh. Red source, maybe? Yikes. Okay, so gonna have to put a little work into this. So I have Lotus Petal. I guess I can Shattering Spree, Ballista, and Sapphire and Wasteland them, and then that's probably pretty solid. Like, they smartly turned off Dak. I guess I could also... Nope, I was about to say I could Young Pyromancer, but they have Walking Ballista. I could Bolt first, then Young Pyromancer. I could also Dreadhorde Arcanist. And if they commit 4 mana to try to soup up their Ballista, I can just Bolt it. Yeah, alright, I'm gonna get Arcanist in play. And if they pay the 4 to try to kill it, they will just get blown out. I can't block here. No blocks available. Alright, now they're going for the pump. Alright, perfect. So if Ancestral finds a red source, then you get to just wipe them off the map here. Or maybe I just ignore that entirely and just play the Young Pyromancer before combat. And just gum up the board. Alright, drawing Ruby. Yeah, I actually think I like that. So I can Young Peasy, attack, Ancestral Recall, get a thing. Then I'm still live to draw a red source to Shattering Spree. I could have taken a more aggressive mana denial line here. Oh, or I could just continue missing land drops. Alright, I'm gonna shatter their Mox. Because I have the Revoker covered with all of these elementals. I just want to deny them options. Like if they have to take 2 life off Ancient Tomb to activate Mishra's Factory, that's just gonna get chumped in combat. This Force of Will should lock the game up though. Finding Force, even though we missed the land drop, I can't imagine they would get through this at this point. And the Arcanist is gonna Lightning Bolt or Shattering Spree next turn. Tangle Wire. Do I even care about that? I mean, they're hellbent, so can I think I just win, so I might as well force it. And I'll pitch Merchant Scroll. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just dead. Like I can spree some blockers and then attack and bolt their face. Wow, they're on the attack. Oh, they activated the wrong one. That's awkward. They activated the one with Summoning Sickness. I kind of feel bad about that. Though. Oh, they had mana floating. Maybe they were just stunting on me a little. Alright, I respect that. So, shatter you. Alright, they conceded anyway. So they block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They lose everything. Yeah. Alright, yep. That was a pretty clean win over Shops. I love clean wins over Shops, and Blood Moon was very good in that matchup too. Alright, on the draw here in round 3. I have a Force of Will. I have a turn 2 Blood Moon or turn 2 Dak. I'm going to keep this. They're on 6 already, thinking about their 6. Yeah, I'm trying to theory craft what the Bazaar matchups look like. Like Blood Moon turns off Bazaar, but Blood Moon is an artifact or enchantment, so Force of Green can kill it, Force of Vigor, and the Dredge decks play a lot of Force of Wills of their own. Also, being on the draw here, they're going to get 2 Bazaar activations before I can cast my Blood Moon. I don't know that they're a Bazaar deck. I'm just thinking about what that looks like. And then you sideboard in the Breach combo because you'll never be fast enough to beat them fair and square. Like they're like Tabernacle, Leyline, Bazaar combo. Okay. Alright, so there's a pretty coherent plan here. Horizon Canopy. That's not usually a vintage card. I'm glad I have Lightning Bolt against the Horizon Canopy deck. Though I think I'm just gonna fetch and cast Preordain anyway. Yeah, I'm wondering if there's some sort of humans deck. So all of these cards are pretty good. If they play Thalia, I'll force it, then Blood Moon them. Alright, I'm actually going to bottom Wasteland, keep Time Walk. I'm pretty committed to forcing anything. I guess I should play my Jet in case they have Cavern Thalia. Like the difference between playing out Jet is like they might Enlightened Tutor. Like they might if they're a Phyrexian Revoker deck. Oh, they're Oath. Fuck my life. This is a weird Oath deck. Alright, if Force resolves here, I think we're in business. Okay, so I'm gonna get to Blood Moon them, and they gave me a win condition in this Spirit token. Alright, Travis. Blood Moon's good in Vintage. Confirmed. Yeah, so I guess we'll see what they can do now. Do they have any plays to get through a Blood Moon? Like, leading on Horizon Canopy Go is not exciting. Forbidden Orchard is not... I guess they had the Oath, so that was kind of exciting. So they need to produce a basic land, draw a Mox off the top. My clock's not exactly fast. I did pitch Dak to the Force of Will. I was planning for the worst case scenario, where I would prefer to be able to time walk than Dak if they do stick a monster. Oh geez, Ancient Tombs in this deck? What are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, not quite there yet. I'm pretty interested in drawing a Hull Breacher just as a real clock. A Dreadhorde Arcanist, Young PC. You know what I'm saying. Just a creature other than this spirit token. Though the spirit looks like it's poised to go coast to coast. So I could Treasure Cruise right now. I feel like... Oh, no. I can do it with Red Blast back up next turn. Maybe I'll just like bolt them in the end step or something to fuel my cruise. Alright, or they'll just concede. I'll take that too. They knew what I was planning. Alright, so we're playing against Oath again. So we need our combo kill. Then time to figure out what I did last time against Oath. Young Pyromancer, not really what we want. Pyroblast, generally good. Though that Ancient Tomb Horizon Canopy mana base makes me wonder if they're like some weird non-blue Oath shell. Just trying to dodge Hull Breachers and Red Blasts all day. I don't know. I'm going to board in Surgical just to get a look at their deck. I am extremely interested in what's going on over there. So I think I boarded out an Arcanist last time. Oh yeah, these Lightning Bolts. Those were the other cuts against Oath. I still think I like this plan. Okay, let's do it. So Ancient Tomb makes me think they might be like Bomberman Oath. Like that was a Brian Kelly special a few years back. He won Vintage Champs with it. The premise of that deck was that all of your Oath monsters are also castable. Oh, Bazaar Baghdad. You have this too. Glad Surgical's in my hand and in my deck. Also, this turn 2 Hull Breacher might be just real nice against Bazaar if they're not actually dredging. Surgical's also very good against Enlightened Tutor because it shuffles the card they just searched to the top of their deck away. I'd be pretty excited about drawing a Mox or a Black Lotus. Just eat this Bazaar with my Hull Breacher. Oh, I hope I get a chance to cast the Surgical. I really want a screenshot of this deck. Show me your secrets. This must be a tough Bazaar. I wonder if they're like a hybrid survival Oath deck. Or are they just lands that also plays Oath? Oh, bummer. Oh no, if they have Veil of Summer to go with this, I'm going to be really disappointed. Okay. Though I've lost my Hull Breacher, let's draw a Wasteland. That's not a Wasteland. So I could just exile Oaths in their draw step, but they can't cast Oath right away anyway. They might be a Loam deck. I should sit on this Surgical a little bit. Discarded Force of Vigor. Oh no, Thespian Stage is in play now. I need a Blood Moon. It's time. Alright, I'll take Dak though. I don't need this Lightning Bolt. Alright, I'm excited about Ancestral Recall. I just need a plan for Merit Lage. I have to assume that's where this is going. Yeah, if I hadn't extracted Oath of Druids, I would have extracted Thespian Stage, but I decided not to cast Surgical at all, but sizable beating that they had a stage in play now. Can I beat Merit Lage? I guess I have to Dak Emblem and steal Merit Lage is the plan. Oh, this deck is so cool. Don't know if it's good, but it's very cool. The good news is, if we start to lose this game, I can Surgical them and get a look at their whole deck. And then at least I know what I'm dealing with for game 3. It's so funny when these fair decks activate Bazaar, they have to think really hard compared to like a Dredge or like Hollowvine deck where it's just like very clear what's supposed to be in the graveyard, or you're just hellbent anyway. These decks that actually have to sequence the next couple turns around having Bazaar Baghdad activated. Though I would appreciate keeping this game moving. I just want to activate my deck some more. They're sweating me. They know I have Ancestral in hand, and they're just letting me sit here, wishing it was on the stack instead. Alright, so there's Fast Bond. Alright, there's the Dark Depths. No surprise there. Wait, this was still in my deck? Oh yeah, I guess I didn't know that they were like full non-blue at the time. Actually, that might be good. If I can get up to Dak Emblem, that might be exactly what I needed. I guess I'll probe them. Another stage in hand. Okay, I don't think I need this set. Maybe I do want the second Dak just because of Force of Will. Though I don't think they're casting any spells this game. So Vista can fuel my delve spells. Or fetch lands fuel delve spells. I guess there are all 4 Red Blasts still in my deck, right? So I can discard this one now. That's a pretty easy one. Then try to find another one if I'm gonna Dak Emblem to steal them. Alright, discard those 2. I can preordain. I don't need either of those. Oh no, my Black Lotus, I just sent it to the bottom. Okay. I can shuffle that. Oh shit, I should have extracted Thespian Stage in their upkeep, because... Okay, I can do it now. That was a close call. So this is going to get the one out of their hand. They're going to draw 2, discard 3, which is their whole hand. If they had just made their land drop, I think this would have gone better. Alright, so time to screenshot this deck for one. Alright, I can cut my Pyroblast. So what are they doing here? They are a like Oath Lands hybrid deck. They have Sphinx of the Steelwind, Grizzlebrand, Iona as their monsters. Okay, it's just a pretty cool hybrid deck. Do they have the Riftstone Portal? Yeah, they play 3 of them. Alright, gotta respect that. Okay. Now they draw 2 and discard their hand. That'll buy me a turn to get up to Dak Emblem, at least. No Riftstone Portal, no problem. Second Breach. Ancestral Recall is in my graveyard, so I can play a Value Breach right now. Just Ancestral and then see where that goes. Alright, so Ancestral Recall myself. Exile this, and this. I found a Mox, Dreadhorde Arcanist. This might as well Ancestral again. Or I should use my Mox to do it. Then I can plus Dak. See if we find that Black Lotus. Nope. I blew it on the Black Lotus. So discard Pyroblast and I think Scalding Tarn. Then I can Ancestral again. Still on the hunt for Black Lotus. Alright, still don't have one. Lotus Petal. 1, 2, 3. Okay, if I thought of this earlier with Lotus Petal, I might have been able to cast Dreadhorde Arcanist also this turn. So I might as well put that into play though. Or I guess I could still preordain for Black Lotus, and there's still a chance. Oh, Wasteland's very good. Oh, I have several in my hand already. All right. Okay. I am content with that turn. Discard Arcanist, Basic Mountain. This Wasteland's going to be my next play anyway, and they're going to draw for turn. Yeah, there's not many draws I can lose to here, so as long as I still have Wasteland, I don't need this second DAC. Okay, I can force twice, I can Wasteland their Thespian Stage. Okay, if they hit Riftstone Portal off of the Upkeep Bazaar and then play a land off their natural draw, they could win this. Alright, now I just destroy the Thespian Stage and I'm pretty sure they can't win. Yeah, they scooped it up. I was about to start stealing Bazaar draws with Hull Breacher. Oh well, we take the W's even if they're not that flashy. Alright, so we're on the play in round 4. This hand's a little goofy. It has turn 1 Dreadhorde Arcanist, but nothing to cast with it. So I think I want to keep this. Like I have Force of Will and Pyroblast to drag the game out a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to play to the upside. Turn 1 Arcanist. If they spend resources dealing with Arcanist, that's cool. I can just let it die because I don't have the follow-up anyway. It would be kind of a shame if they just Lightning Bolt here. Shit. Alright. Yep. Don't really care. Alright, I mean, I guess I play my Lotus out so I can hardcast Force of Will. So I can Force of Will and Pyroblast this turn, but I do need some sort of payoff. I wish I could have Hull Breachered there. They top bottom that preordain. Oh, trusty old Jeskai. Oh, I wish I had a Hull Breacher. Hull Breacher? I'll also accept Wasteland. So Lavinia and their removal spells are white, but most of their good cards are red, like Dak Faden. So I'll go over there with it. So this game is going to take a while, unless I rip a threat immediately and start punching. But even then, oh, maybe are they PO? What are they doing over there with this? I'm not sure what they are actually. They could be some like million color, just Xerox deck. So I guess all of the cards they've cast are conceivably also in Paradoxical Outcome. Well, it's now or never on this Forces. And I do think that pitching Force to Force, oh shit, we're dead, is better than hardcasting it and losing the Lotus. I guess it depends if their last card is Brain Freeze or not. Jeez. All right. All right. That was a strong hand. Okay. So we're playing against Breach combo. Like actual dedicated Breach combo. So I think I want my own Breach combo. Extraction. I don't know if I'm supposed to bring in ley lines against Breach combo because they're good against the Breach half of the deck and they're very bad against the Xerax half of the deck. I think I mostly just want to Blood Moon, Narset, and Hull Breacher them. Like these prison pieces are going to be better than dedicated Graveyard Hate. These lightning bolts can go into the maybe pile. The Young Pyromancer. Pyroblast is actually kind of medium against them too because their actual engine is a red card. Yeah, I'll submit this. This hand is pretty good. It's not particularly explosive, but it's solid. My opponent's hand last game was really good. So if I had wasted the plains instead of the mountain, what happens there? Alright, so I'm going to keep both of these on top. I think that Blood Moon is going to be pretty tough for them to beat with their 3-color deck. Though Black Lotus and Underworld Breach are only take red mana to go off. They chose to shuffle. So maybe I'm just supposed to... Oh, I know. I'm going to strip mine and try to just deny them long enough to stick this DAC and take their Mox. I wish I had led on Volcanic Island instead of Basic Island, because getting this Dreadhorde into play right now would be pretty good. Alright, so now they can't Red Blast. Alright, DAC is unfortunately my only blue card to pair with this Force of Will. Okay, so I've denied them 2 mana now. I spent turn 2 and turn 3 Stone Raining. Just if I can stick this Blood Moon next turn, that should do it. Alright, or they're just dead now. I'll take those two. The old Mull to 5 Stone Rain you, and then Blood Moon you. Love it. Alright, does anything change here? Don't think so. Yep, right back in, same deck. This has been a quick one. We're only 7 minutes into this match and it's already game 3 compared to those Oath players who spent 7 minutes just activating Bazaar Baghdad. It's nice when everyone's committed to getting the games done quickly. You get the scoops where you deserve them. Also, just each player taking turns, not drawing, helps. Yes, please. So I can Wasteland, or I can Arcanist, or I can Ancestral. This has gone pretty well so far. I'm gonna hold the Pearl. Like, it doesn't do anything in play. So, Arcanist. Yeah, I like getting Arcanist in. Like, I want to tax their resources now, and then next turn, yeah, that's fine. Uh, I want to save the misstep to counter their Red Blast or their misstep on my Ancestral. I'd also really like to get this Narset into play, and I can counter a Red Blast with misstep. They top-bottomed that. I'm actually just going to go for Narset here, because I feel like that shuts them down entirely, and I do have some protection. We're in there. So minusing, all right, I found Force of Will, so we're good. Minusing opens me up to Lightning Bolt, but I get Pyroblasted either way, so I might as well take a look. All right, the old Scry 2, 1 mana Scry 2. Another 1 mana Scry 2. Bottom. Yeah, they're just hemorrhaging cards trying to get through this Narset, and I am okay with that. The non-bow. I'll take this Red Blast. I should Ancestral. I still have a land drop. I think we win. Yeah, all right. Fair and square. We got that one done in 10 minutes. Yeah, that was quick. On to the final round. We're in the final round, and I'm on the play, and my opponent is a Lutri the Spellcaster deck. Or Spellchaser? Spellchaser. Lutri the Spellchaser. That seems like a good deck to have Hull Breacher and Narset against. So I'm just gonna, like, we don't have land number 3 yet, but we play a lot of cantrips, a lot of mana sources. We have early interaction in Force of Will, and then the 2 1-drops. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this and play my Volcanic Island and hope they don't have their 1 Wasteland if they have a 1 Wasteland. Yeah, these Lutri decks are a lot of fun. My opponent is really committed to the meme. Their avatar is also Lutri. I guess my avatar is also Bosch, so it's fair. We're both in on it. The bad news is that so the Lutri decks are both easy to predict and hard to predict because on the one hand, there are not that many cards that are over the bar of vintage playability. So we know that it's a blue and or red deck, probably both. So we know they're going to have like a Ponder, a Preordain, an Ancestral Recall, the Power, a Narset, a Teferi, a Dak, that sort of stuff. But knowing that versus them all being one-ofs is pretty hard to plan for. But in general, I've found, like, I have tried these Lutri decks, and mostly I've found that they're just worse at being Xerox decks than the real Xerox decks. So let's hope that holds up here. Oh, I do need to keep an eye on that. Just dodging Wasteland is the first. Like they can only have Wasteland and Strip Mine. They can only have 2 of them compared to even the 3 and more that I have. Yeah, that's not what I'm pyroblasting. Yeah, like I have 4 of that effect in my deck. I think 3 or 4 is the normal number. You can do 3 if you have Ren and 6, so you probably want 4 if you don't. They topped. Good stuff all around for our opponent. I would love to draw a Mox, please. Let's get this Hull Breacher on. All right, I'm gonna go for that. While that was my third land drop, just being the Wasteland deck, I'm gonna take it where I can, especially they're on 5 with this awkward 1-of deck. It's a good chance that takes them off an entire color for a long time. I can't wait to get punished brutally for not keeping my third mana source with all these 3-drops in hand. Oh, Caracas. I guess that makes sense. It's time to draw land number 3. Easy game. Never didn't have it. So now we have Hull Breacher with Force of Will backup at the ready. I'm not going to sing it out loud because I would lose all of my subscribers, but I will be singing Treasure by Bruno Mars in my head as soon as this steals a draw step. Let's see, did we get there? They can't Red Blast me. Oh yeah. Let me treasure you. So it is round 5, and it's the first time Hull Breacher's been in play, and it's already bananas. So I'm pretty sure this Ponder has resolved at this point. Like, we both passed priority. It's hard to tell. Okay, yeah. It's hard to tell if they were just thinking or if they actually were pondering. They chose to shuffle. And now that I have this treasure, like, I can just keep going. Like, the snowballed advantage here of just developing mana as well as breaching halls. I'm not excited about that lightning bolt, but it was the only choice. And we even have the backup breacher if necessary. And Narset's already in play. So I'm pretty sure the way that this works is that on their turn, I don't get treasures because Narset stops them from drawing before Hull Breacher turns the draws into treasures. On my turn, Hull Breacher will take the draw before Narset sees it. Because Hull Breacher lets you draw 1 card in your draw step. What is this, Oko? Oh, they're putting Lutri in hand. All right. Yeah, so Hull Breacher only lets you draw in your draw step. Narset lets you draw 1 per turn. So if you draw the 1 per turn in your draw step on your turn, then Narset sees that and says you don't get to draw any more cards. On my turn, Hull Breacher never lets Narset see the 1 draw, so Narset's condition is never met that they have to stop drawing, and I do get any amount of treasures they would create. I'm not convinced how much that matters in this particular matchup, but it is there. It is. That's how that works, to my knowledge. So I can create 2 treasures, and they discard 2 cards. Nice. Now we're thiefing. Oh, Wheel of Fortune. So they must be a Hull Breacher deck too. That's not a card that you just like put in your deck. So I'm gonna hold up, backup Hull Breacher, Force of Will, and Pyroblast this turn. Soul Ring. Lutri has Flash, so have to watch out for an ambush in combat, I guess. And I think hitting them with the Mind Rot is better than advancing my own hand, because my hand's already pretty good. If I can just get them on empty, be doing all right. Mindbreak Trap and Duress. All right, so I'm going to attack into Lutri. I have Lightning Bolt to clear it. All right, they didn't even go for the ambush. So now in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think in this case I will Treasure Cruise. Nice. I guess if they crack this fetch land, they just die. But I'll play Young Peasy. So if they crack this fetch land, they go to 6, and then I can Bolt with Red Blast, Force of Will backup. I'm going to let them go ahead and keep playing, though. They don't need to know how many bolts I play. All right, I'll just respond to, oh, this is Lutri. Okay, I don't care. You're still dead. All right, yep, they conceded. And I didn't have to show them everything, all the ways they were dead. Okay, so this is a Lutri Xerox deck. I will bring in the Breach combo. I don't think I need Surgical this time, so I might want like slightly less Lightning Bolt. I also might want less Force of Will, because like, what am I scared of out of their deck? Is that a silly thing to say? Young Pyromancer can do less of that. I feel like Blood Moon would crush this deck. All right. I think I like all the rest of this stuff though. So now the choice is I could go thinner on Lightning Bolt again, but I think a Lutri deck is more likely to have targets for Lightning Bolt than a different deck. I actually think I want 3 Lightning Bolts. I'm thinking about shaving a Pyroblast instead of, but I guess so just thinking about what's probably in their deck. Young Pyromancer, Dreadhorde Arcanist, those don't get Pyroblasted, they do get bolted. Oko gets blasted but not bolted. Teferi, either one could work. Narset, either one could work. Lutri, they both work. Alright, I think Pyroblast is probably just the safer thing. Ancestral Recall, you can't Lightning Bolt that. Maybe I just bring in this without the Lotus Petal. Because I just don't want to cut anymore. Like, I'm all in on Black Lotus if I ever want to Breach combo, but I think that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Sorry, Lotus Petal. I couldn't find room for you. I tried. Well, this is a Black Lotus Dreadhorde Arcanist hand. I'll keep it. It needs a spell. But like, Black Lotus casts Arcanist with Pyroblast backup all on its own. Oh, am I getting duressed? I am getting duressed. Yikes. See you later, Black Lotus, probably. Though I can still turn one Arcanist. Maybe they just take Time Walk. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty sweet that I get to turn one Arcanist regardless. So whether they take Time Walk or Pyroblast will tell me a lot about their hand. Like if they have a removal spell for Dreadhorde Arcanist that they don't really care about Time Walk, they'll probably take Pyroblast. I kind of hope they just take Black Lotus. Alright. So they took Pyroblast, which means they can probably answer my Dreadhorde Arcanist. Or they're willing to roll the dice that I just won't draw a cantrip to go with it. Which I did. But they don't need to know that. I think I should just Black Lotus Preordained Time Walk here. I want to try the Time Walk first, because the Preordained's the one they don't know about. And that's the one that punishes the hardest if I get a second turn. So, looks like we did it. That worked out pretty well. I'm glad they didn't take Black Lotus. Oh, Force of Negation. Checkmate. Alright, let's draw Ancestral Recall. Damn it. Alright, I'm not going to cast this Pyroblast from my graveyard. Not yet, anyway. That was an awesome Force of Negation. The one of. They had to pitch their Time Walk to do it. Let's see what's left over there in that 4-card hand. Soul Ring's pretty good. Oh my god, am I getting tinkered? I am getting tinkered. Oh no, it's just Lutri. Woo! Blood Moon. Yeah, I'm gonna keep playing my lands out, because I'm one away from hardcasting Force at this point. Alright, they can hardcast Force now. They can also cast Lutri. So Lutri and a mystery card in hand. Alright, I'm not going to waste them or attack. Like, they have so much mana that Wasteland doesn't really do anything, plus being able to hardcast this Force is a big deal. Alright, and they only have 2 cards in hand, so if they cast a spell then try to copy it with Lutri, I can just force the original spell. Alright, is it go time? Alright, top. I guess, so I can attack, cast Preordain, and lose my, I think I'm gonna fetch and cast Ponder. I thought I wanted that Dig Through Time, but then when I thought about it more, maybe I don't. So I think having a blue card in my hand is pretty important. Alright, so attack and potentially lose my creature to Lutri. Alright, I'm gonna Ponder, hope to find a Red Blast. Or Lightning Bolt. Dig Through Time. That is not currently castable, though it is a very good card. I guess I can also, I still have my land drop, right? Yeah, I played the Wasteland last turn to get up to 5 mana. Alright, so I'm going to keep Dig on top, and then I can Gitaxian Probe into the the land and cast Dig. I could also just force Lutri and continue beating down. Alright, I'm going to try that. And then I still have Dig for next turn. And if this Arcanist sticks around, I'm in good shape. If their last card in hand is Red Blast, they're hellbent against a Dig through time. Alright, so that went pretty well. And now I can Wasteland. Yeah, I'll take them off black. I feel like I'm more worried about white, but they have the Mox Pearl. And they have fetch land, so whatever. But now, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's better at this point to just keep that as having more mana. Right, I'm going to fetch before I attack because my cantrip is Preordain, and you want to fetch before you Preordain so you don't mess up your scries. Alright, so they've got something here. Or they're just fetching now. Play around Stifle, I don't know. Vampiric Tutor. Okay, I'll let you have that. It's probably getting Ancestral. Or maybe it's getting Tinker. Or, I don't know, Underworld Breach, but they don't have a Lotus. I'm just trying to think of what they would get that would play around the most things while being the most powerful. Right, I think Blood Moon has missed its chance to be good here. Narset is good most of the time. Alright, so I'm gonna lead on Narset, and then I can still dig if I want to. I hope they put Ancestral Recall on top. Alright, I got Pyroblast for their Tinker, and I can still dig if I need to find different answers. Black Lotus. Alright, maybe they do have Underworld Breach. Oh, they just have Hardcast Citadel? Alright, let's dig for an answer. Force blue card. Uh-oh. Well, one of us is dead. They do only have 12 life, and they can't draw extra cards. F6, what you got? Oh, that was a good way to start. So if they have an Underworld Breach in their deck, they can just put it in their hand now and go off, like cast the Lotus, cast the Vamp Tutor. Or Yogg-Will also does the same thing. Wow, that was a great place to start with their demonic or their Citadel. Oh, Sensei's Top, also a good one. Oh, that's what they tutored for. Oh, but they can't draw cards. So Narset actually, that's not the infinite combo. They do only get to look at their top three, and they can move them around. If there's an answer to Narset in the top three, then they can draw 9 cards. Brainstorm just to clear the top card of the deck. Then they can Sensei's Top to see another one. Mystical Tutor. Oh, that's awfully good. That's a shuffle. Oh, Tendrils. Oh, wow. All right. Yeah, they found the line, got through me. Even got an extra storm off of that. That was cool. All right, GG. That was awesome. Okay. I thought it looked too easy. So they're definitely a tinker deck. More than a like Xerox kind of deck, though because it's Lutri, they could just have all of it. I don't think I want yeah, Surgical Extraction, that's fucking funny against the 1-of deck. It's just pay 2 life, shuffle your opponent's deck. Alright, now that I know that they're also a Storm deck, I'm much more interested in having all my forces available. Do I want both Brain Freezes? Like, Breach is good on its own, but Brain Freeze is whatever. Alright, yeah, I think my fair plan is good enough against them that I don't need the full combo. Alright, yeah. I'm in this. I may very well have lost because I boarded out one of those forces. There was only 2 left in the deck when I went for my dig. That was a Miracle Bolus of Citadel, though. Just that Demonic Tutor off the top. I would like to go first. This is not a hand I can keep, unfortunately. Alright, this is mostly the same hand, but better. Dig and Breach. I think Dig is worse than Breach, just out of nowhere. They kind of want the same things to happen. Alright, so I'm going to play around Force of Negation by waiting till their upkeep. Basically, their only ways they can counter this now are Force of Will, Mental Misstep, or Misdirection. God, I hope they don't have Misdirection. Alright, I was ready for that one. Remember when every game of Vintage just started that way? That sucked. I'm so glad that card's restricted. Speaking of sucking, we need red mana. Oh, Academy. Uh-oh, are we getting turn 2'd? Turn 1'd? Oh, I hope not. I am looking forward to strip mining that Academy, though. Yeah, this Lutri deck is very cool. I had not played one with a Storm Kill built in. Uh-oh, 4 mana. Alright, these awkward cantrips are good. They've already made their land drop, though they have shown me they have multiple shuffle tutors, so they could shuffle us at instant speed. Just hope I don't get tinkered right now. Oh god. Do you have the time ball too? Oh my, that would have been so messed up in a deck full of 1-ofs. Oh, Black Lotus. That came right when I needed it. So I'll cast this first, see if it resolves. And I can play the Strip Mine. I can make red. Alright, so if I make red, I can cast Young Pyromancer and Underworld Breach. but that doesn't do anything. I could just strip mine the Academy. I could play Time Walk and see where this goes. I could make 3 red, cast Young Pyromancer, then Time Walk. Alright, I think I like that. So 3 red. Young Pyromancer. Time Walk. Leaving up red to represent Red Blast, but it's just Lightning Bolt. Alright, that fills my graveyard with cards for a big Underworld Breach next turn if I draw a red source. Mana. Alright, at least I have Hull Breacher. So I can hold up Hull Breacher, or I can just take them down to 2 mana. Yeah, I think just shredding their shit here makes more sense. This is scary though, like they could just tinker and win. So they're holding Lutri. A red source off the top is insane though. I will trade Young Pyromancer for Lutri. Lutri can also just eat a token, but I'm okay with that too. They're pretty close to being dead to Lightning Bolt if I just draw a red source. Just breach them out. Uh-oh. So they can tinker for something here. Oh, they just tinker for fucking Time Vault and I lose. Bummer. Or no, they just get Time Vault. They don't even tinker for it. Alright. Good games. So, I'm willing to believe I fucked that up somehow. Like, maybe Breach was better than Young Pyromancer on the turn I went for that, but the Breach didn't really go anywhere. Maybe, like, I guess I didn't have any red anyway the turn I did all my wastelanding. So, yeah, I think I just needed to find a more reliable red source on that 2-turn window that I had to do it. Like, Breach wins that game. Oh well, that was close. I don't mind losing to Lutri. That was a really sweet deck. This deck was also really sweet. Blood Moon performed. I believe we did a good job showcasing exactly what this thing is capable of. And just in a shell like this, like I think when I think of Blood Moon, I tend to think of like uh, Red Stompy in Legacy that is trying to like Ancient Tomb, Simian Spirit guide it out, or like Panza in Modern that's trying to like cast it on turn 2 off of an Arbor Elf. So like the idea of putting it into a control shell just as like a soft uh, a soft piece where it's just like you're still casting spells, but instead of casting like 4 spells a turn with 3 different mana, you get to cast 1 spell a turn and you only have blue mana. So, like, thinking of it like that in the shell of something like this is a lot better. Hull Breacher was really nice the one game it showed up. I do like the Breach package in the sideboard. I'm a big fan of that. This deck was really cool. It is soft to Oath. That Oath match we played felt close to unwinnable. I'm not sure what we can do about that. I guess the Breach combo is what we do about that. Just there's no green or white mana to play enchantment removal. And you could play like some bounce spell, but the sideboard's pretty tight already. Yeah, I think just beating those decks on the stack, making sure the Oath doesn't resolve, and then boarding into the combo is the way that we beat them. So in this deck, was really good. I'm a big fan. Um, 4 lightning bolt feels like a lot. I'm not sure. Like there were a couple times where it was like I had Dreadfort Arcanist but no cantrip, or I kept a hand that like didn't cantrip. I understand why Brainstorm's not in this list, but maybe it should be. Just over the 4th bolt. That's just so many bolts. And seeing more cards is always welcome. Like anytime you don't have Blood Moon in play, you're pretty happy to draw Brainstorm. Yeah, that's the change I would make. I would get the Brainstorm back in the deck. 4 bolts. I was frequently bolt flooded and trying to find different sort of action. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this deck. Big fan of it, actually. Nice job with this one, Travis. This was a lot of fun. I could see myself playing something like this in like a real tournament. So thanks for contributing it. Remember, everyone, like, comment, subscribe. If you want me to play your deck, message me. My contact info is in the description, and I'll see you next time.